Hi guys, welcome back to another day and another video. In today's video of I think episode 33 of the video, we will be talking about the Q1 FY26 series of the jewelry space. Now ये jewelry space जो मैं cover करने वाली हूँ, I will divide it into three parts. Part 1 of the video will be only covering the B2C players. The part 2 of the video will be for B2B players such as Sky Gold, RBC, Khazanchi, Utsav, like that. And the part 3 video will be for lightweight jewelry such as Gargi. Although jewelry space it is not really falling in either of these categories. So I will be doing three parts of this entire jewelry space का video. Okay. So before we start, हम लोग आज का में part 1 में B2C का jewelries we will be covering all the companies that are there. I will start the video by talking about the common factors and how the demand is looking for them, and then we will go into each and every company in detail, and then the last we will do P2P and the outlook that the companies have told for the upcoming year, that is this FY26. How does it stand? So this is how the video is going to be there. Okay. And guys, another just a small reminder that हमारा Q1 का FY26 का portfolio analysis workshop will go live. I mean, we will be conducting the live workshop on 24th of August, that is the upcoming Sunday. So make sure if you haven't got your seats, make sure you get your seats, because this time the analysis is going to be a little bit different. Rather than just discussing the portfolio, talking about the allocation, why did we churn, why did we cut, and to just show you how the portfolio management takes place. Along with that, in the second part, after the lunch जो session है, वहाँ पे हम क्या करने वाले, every sector को we will talk about each and every sector, उसमें क्या opportunities है, which are the players that are not good. Literally entire breadth and width, whatever we cover, we will do it. Why we are doing this is because, as you know, opportunities तो हर जगह में होता है, but we can't play every single opportunity. So that is why we want to show you कि like कौन से opportunities है, what are the stocks that are there in our watch list, all of these things. Anyways, we'll start the video right now. अगर आप देखते हो entire jewelry space, before we start talking about every individual company, there are few things that we need to keep in mind about this jewelry space. Okay, पहला चीज है, if you compare Q1 of FY26 to Q1 of FY21, there are a few factors that has changed, because of which you might see little bit of aberration in terms of number, or it could be more aberration both in the terms of upper end and lower end also. Why am I telling this is because अगर आप Q1 of FY25 में देखते हो, there was one factor which was elections, right? We had elections in the month of June. Now how does election impact jewelry space? As you know, elections के time में there is this रुकावट होता है थोड़ा सा, a lot of police checking and everything. The other rule of election is what you cannot carry more than 50,000 rupees when you are like traveling around, I think, in the city, right? In cash you can't have it. So इसके वजह से जो भी cash का this transaction happens in the jewelry space, वो थोड़ा रुक जाता है. Okay, so that is part 1. Okay, then उसके बाद we also had the worst heat waves last time we spoke about, right? Like in the month of April and May. But इस heat waves में how does this impact the jewelry space? As you know, jewelry is that one item that most of us would want to go and buy. I would say, I think 99.99% of us would want to go and buy from the store, right? Because it's a high ticket item, and it is also, I think, in Indian household, we look at it as a form of investment. So यहाँ पे and there is this fear of being cheated also, I believe, to a certain extent. So you want to go, you want to touch, you want to feel, you want to have a plethora of options also, right? So this is, and as a result, majority of the jewelry ka sales जो होते हैं, it happens via walking, by walking through the stores and purchasing. So abhi iske due to this heat waves, what had happened, a lot of walk-ins got dropped, okay, because of which SSG was impacted. Okay, so these are the two things. And the last thing is Akshaya Tritiya. If you remember, Akshaya Tritiya in the year of 2024 was in the month of May, okay, and Akshaya Tritiya in 2025 is in the month of April. Now you might tell me कि like I understand it is in the month of May and April, but April भी Q1 का ही month है ना. क्या होता है अक्षय तृतीया में, एक फंडा होता है. Okay, so as you know, अक्षय तृतीया, it's not that people will go and buy the gold only on that अक्षय तृतीया का day, right? Because rush is usually there. So what these jewelry people, if you go see in the jewelry का stores, they have this pre-order basis. Basically आपका जो अक्षय तृतीया का jewelry है, you can order it 30 to 40 days, and you also get a little bit of discount in terms of making charges. If you guys buy gold in अक्षय तृतीया, you would know. So इसके वजह से a lot of the pre-order, a lot of the sale gets booked a month before, or like 45 days before, mostly of 30 to 60 days before only a lot of pre-order happens. Because इस बार अक्षय तृतीया came in April, so आपका pre-order कब होता है? Starts in the month of March, which is Q4 का month. Versus अगर आप last time कब था? May में था, and when does the pre-order starts? Somewhere in the month of April, right? So इसके वजह से क्या हुआ, थोड़ा SSG में आपको you might feel like SSG जो है is not as great compared to the same time last year. So this is the thing. पहला two reasons के वजह से you might see a lot of the companies low base effect के वजह से अच्छा numbers post कर रहे हैं. The third reason is because of this Akshaya Tritiya, you might feel that SSG is, a little bit mellowed down, but that is not the case. It is only due to the preponement of the festival that has happened in this year. Okay, so ये तीन चीजों को आपको याद में रखना पड़ेगा when you are talking about any companies in the B2C का jewelry space, when you talk about the jewelry sector. Okay, this is the most common factor for all the companies that are there. Okay, now we will talk about एक company. The first company we'll talk about is Senco Gold. अगर आप Senco को देखते हो, Senco का that is there, sales went up by 30%. PAT that is there, PAT also grew really well. PAT literally double हो चुका है. Margins that is there, EBITDA margins का बात कर रही हूँ, EBITDA margins improved from 7.7 to 10.1. Okay, now if you talk about Senco, you remember that Senco is a 18 to 20% kind of growth engine. ये इतना क्या हो गया कि ये 20% से ये 30% हो गया, इसका pace of growth बढ़ गया. That is point number one. The second thing is profitability भी हो गया, and the third is margins, because यहाँ पे if you remember the entirety of the last year, especially Q1, Q2, Q3, the margins were completely washed out for Senco. If you remember वो diamond का लोचा जो हुआ था उसके वजह से, right? But right now if you see all of the three metrics जिसमें problem था, it has become better. Is it a show शायद इसका pace of growth बढ़ रहा है, and if you look at it, it is the lowest PE compared to all of the other players. So शायद इसका इस pace of growth बढ़ने के वजह से PE rating हो सकते हैं. What is the case, right? Because अगर आप SSG भी देखते हो, SSG is also up by 19%, right? It is at 19%. अगर आप देखते हो the volume growth is also very strong. So ये यहाँ पे क्या चल रहा है? So what had happened, the reason you're able to see this huge amount of growth, this 30% का growth, is coming back to the first point that we discussed, right? There was this low base effect, because अगर आप Senco का previous Q1 देखते हो, Q1 the sales grew hardly in single digit. क्यों? Because these people इनका अभी भी 80% of the sale comes from West Bengal, and right, West Bengal में गर्मी बहुत होता है. As a result, इनका Q1 of last year was really impacted. So there is this base effect that is there, because of which they they are doing that 30% kind of sales growth. Okay, the other thing is उनका target is to open 20 stores in this year, and if you see they've already opened 10 stores in this Q1 itself. So उसके वजह से more store opening in one quarter rather than opening 5 stores every quarter, उसके वजह से भी थोड़ा ऊपर उनका वो क्या बोलते हैं, उनका थोड़ा इफेक्ट आ चुका है. एंड द लास्ट थिंग ओवर हियर इज मार्जिन. ओके, यू अंडरस्टैंड यहाँ पे सेल्स एंड एवरीथिंग कैन कम दैट लो बेस इफेक्ट, बट हाउ डिड मार्जिन्स इंप्रूव? एज यू रिमेंबर इन द लास्ट Q1 of FY25, व्हेन दैट डायमंड का सॉलिटेयर का प्राइसेस यूज्ड टू गो डाउन, बिकॉज डायमंड में क्या हुआ था, दैट सॉलिटेयर दैट इज देयर ना, एक सिंगल कट स्टोन जो होता है विच वी यूज इट इन रिंग्स एंड ब्रेसलेट एंड ऑल, वहां पे स्पेशली इन द लोअर कैरेट, ओके, लाइक व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट इन डायमंड्स देयर इज 1 कैरेट, 2 कैरेट, एंड एनीथिंग दैट इज बिलो 1 कैरेट वी कॉल इट एज सेंट. नाउ what had happened over here, पूरा का पूरा ये डायमंड का जो कैटेगरी है वहां पे दी, स्पेशली इन द लोअर कैरेट, बिलो 1 कैरेट एंड बिलो दैट, राइट, पूरा का पूरा प्राइस का करेक्शन हुआ था. ओके, पूरा का पूरा. ओके, एज अ रिजल्ट व्हाट हैपेंड, ये सेंको का दे हैव द हाईएस्ट अमाउंट ऑफ पोर्शन कमिंग फ्रॉम द सॉलिटेयर डायमंड, सो एंटायर मार्जिन्स गॉट वॉश्ड आउट. नाउ द प्राइसेस हैज करेक्टेड बैक इनटू नॉर्मल, it has become very normal right now, and as a result of that, the diamond का category that is there, the volume growth has been 30%, and the value growth, since वो इतना गिरा था, it has again normalized. वहाँ पे value growth is up by 50%. Because of these two reasons, you will see that the margin is back right now into that that 10% का that range compared to 7% का range which was last Q1. Okay, आगे जाके अगर आप देखते हो, सेंको का वही पूछा था कि like see, you're already doing already आपने 10 like you have opened 10 stores and the guidance is to open 20 stores. We are already just in Q1, 3 more quarters है. Can you increase more store count? Can we expect that from you? And उन्होंने बोला था no, I think we will do 18 to 20 stores. We will see how Q3s, and after that Q3 we will go. And उन्होंने और एक चीज बोला था कि like can we expect this kind of growth? Like some analysts had asked कि like 30% का growth can we expect? And they told कि like नहीं, आगे जाके अगर आप देखते हो हमारा Q2 में we can expect around 18 to 20% growth only, not more than that. Why? Because if you remember last year जुलाई में जो था, right, in the last July of FY25, जुलाई में क्या हुआ था, we had this import duty का cut, right, which because of which gold का import duty was cut from 12 to 6%. As a result, we had a lot of walk-in rush, in terms of gold का store. And Q2 last year, Q2 over Q2, FY24 versus FY25 was a huge bumper. Okay, and this time we are coming off that high base of last Q2, so don't expect that 30% growth. Again, we will go back to normalized 18 to 20% का growth. That is what they're telling. So Senco, although it has done well, I don't think it becomes very, very hard for them probably to sustain this 30% kind of growth rate. I mean 18 to 20% growth लेके ही चलो, it probably won't won't do more than that. Okay, then we have the second company that we will do, Kalyan Jewellers. Now this is the most interesting यहाँ पे in the entire lot I will tell. Why? Because Kalyan Jewellers, अगर आप देखते हो इनका रिजल्ट जो है, रिजल्ट was दमदार, right? Because sales is up by 31%. अगर आप पैट देखते हो, पैट में immense operating leverage मिला. SSG अगर आप देखते हो, SSG is up by 16%. उसका जो इंडिया का बिजनेस है that grew by 30, मिडिल ईस्ट का बिजनेस grew by 26%. So everything was good. Okay, अगर आप स्टोर भी देखते हो, because if you talk about the store count, the ambition is to open कितना yeah, क्या बोलते हैं, उनका total store target is to open 170 stores, right? 75 Kalyan stores and 85 Candor showrooms. Again, store का expansion is also going on track. There is no problem with that. But क्या हुआ, con call हुआ, and con call के बाद stock गिरने लगा. So what happened in the con call के, like, ये लोग इतना stock जो है, जो it fell like, I believe, 10% that day. So Kalyan is doing three things. Although the business is going in the right direction, there are three major changes that are coming up with Kalyan. Okay, the first major changes, अगर आप देखते हो उनका payables जो है, right, with respect to Kalyan, their payable cycle is somewhere between 30 to 35 days. Now अभी ये बात कर रहे हैं के लिए कि जो payable days है हमें इसको reduce करना है. We want to get it to 1/3 of the current days that is there. Instead of 30 to 35 days, probably reduce it by 1/3. So roughly that is like 10 to 15 days आप बोल सकते हो. Why they doing it is because इसको early credibility बोलते हैं. They want to increase efficiency and get better cash flows over here. This is one thing इसका बात कर रहा था. And apparently they've already, ये last year से चल रहा है. They started with with a few showrooms in Kalyan and to see how it is working over there, and it has turned really well. And आगे जाके ये पूरा का पूरा Kalyan का जो showrooms है वहाँ पर सब करेगा. This is the first major change, and this is something that they're going to work aggressively this year. The second thing that they're talking about is where a lot of झटका मिला for a lot of people is because अगर आप अभी Kalyan का देखते हो, as you know, Kalyan is a very prominent South Indian brand. Okay, and now they have expanded from South of India to the entire North of India. एक चीज मैं बोलती हूँ, ज्वेलरी में इंडिया में ना हर एक रीजन के लिए एक एक अलग अलग स्टाइल होता है. Like if you come to Karnataka, the style is different. If you go to Andhra and Telangana region, they wear a lot of this temple style antique jewelry. अगर आप महाराष्ट्र में जाते हो वहाँ पर स्टाइल is different. If you go to Gujarat and Rajasthan, they prefer that potli jewelry like that. Okay, so अगर आप अभी का कल्याण का शोरूम में जाते हो, although they do cater to a lot of regional jewelry brands, but उनका शोरूम में only 30% is regional jewelry. Okay, let's say for example, if you go to a Kalyan ka showroom in Bangalore, maybe 30% you'll get that regional style jewelry. The other 70% is the normal modern design that is there. A very standard design is what you're going to get. इनका ये बोलना है कि like आगे जाके that is there, starting from this calendar year, what they're going to do is they're going to open a new एक new brand which is going to be a subset of Kalyan only. एक new brand जो होता है where they will cater only to regional jewelry. So if you go to again it is going to be a new brand, new company, एक subsidiary जैसा आप मान सकते हो कल्याण का, एक new brand होगा where let's say they'll first start it with, I believe it with Kerala they will start because that is their base, where you will get only 100% regional jewelry only. Okay, that is the only thing you'll get over there. 100% उसका सारा designs will be catering to that region. अगर आप कर्नाटक में आओगे पूरा 100% in that showroom will be that traditional Karnataka style jewelry. अगर आप आंध्रा में जाते हो पूरा का पूरा आपको सिर्फ टेम्पल ज्वेलरी ही मिलेगा. So this is what they're trying to do. Now इसमें क्या problem हो चुका है? They told that the ROC that is going to be over here, it is more in this regional, what they've spent, right, in terms of it is more compared to what they have done in corporate head. So इसके वजह से obviously a little bit market didn't like it, I guess, because see, for any shareholder, ROE improving, ROC getting up, is a big deal over here. Because if the ROE doesn't go up, you as a shareholder will not make money. Even in ROC also over here, they didn't mention कि like यहाँ पे ROC impact होगा, anything. In fact, they came and clarified also कि like ROC जो है will not be impacted. But since they mentioned that कि like the corporate, when you compare the regional में, the ROC spend is more compared to the corporate में. That is why I think that there was this confusion that is there, but that is not the case. Only thing that they're doing is they want to cater more and more and penetrate more and more into each and every state, each and every district in that state, and the only way to do this is to cater more and more to regional regional taste. So that is why so that is why that is the second thing. And the third thing what they're doing is they're doing a jewelry park. So as you know, Kalyan originates from Thrissur in Kerala. वहाँ पे उनको एक land मिला है from the Kerala government where they want to do like a contract manufacturing thing. Basically, right, there will be certain contract manufacturers, they might have only 5 to 10 employees. They do not have this huge setup. They don't have the machinery. They don't have the land. Kalyan will give you the land. Kalyan will give you the machinery. तुम आके अपना यहाँ पे contract manufacturing करो. पहले ये अपने लिए बनाना चाहते चाहते हैं कल्याण के लिए, आगे जाके for other brands also they want to do, but this is something, and later they want to also get into this manufacturing, but that is something over, over a period of time, not right now. Right now the two main important things for Kalyan is one, that payables, to get control over that, to get the efficiency over there, and the second thing is, to cater more and more towards a regional brand. Okay, these are the two changes you will see in this calendar year. Calendar year matlab by December, financial year is March to April to March, calendar year is Jan to December. So these are the two changes you'll probably see in this year by December. Okay, and that, I mean, see, agar ye regional brand hit hote hai na, whether it will become a hit or not, I think only time will tell, and we have to track it. I don't see a problem why it wouldn't work, because as a South Indian brand, they have gone into the entire of north of India and tried to gain the market share over there, and they've done a really fabulous job, right? So I don't see, if they are able to enter into a new territory and capture market share over there, जो existing territory में उनका जो strong presence है, I don't see why it will be a problem for them. Only thing we will have to keep a little bit check in terms of the numbers and everything. उसका तो हमें पता चलेगा only in Q2 and Q4, because that is when the balance sheet and cash flows come. Until then, this is something that we cannot predict, I can tell. But overall, if you look at it, other than these updates, if you see Kalyan ka, there is no problem at all, right? The pace of growth continues to be strong. It continues to be the highest growing engine compared to all the other players that are there in the space. Okay, the third one is we'll be talking about is PN Gadgil Jewellers. Now PN Gadgil Jewellers का अगर आप बात करते हो, again here अगर आप देखते हो, you might feel that the retail sales are dropped and everything, but as you know, PN Gadgil emerges from Maharashtra. उनका 90% of the sales comes from Maharashtra, and यहाँ पे महाराष्ट्र में in the month, just like how we have Akshaya Tritiya throughout India, here we have a festival called as Gudi Padwa, which usually happens in the Q1 ka month, but this time it happened in the Q4 ka month. As you know, इस calendar year में the all the festivals that are there are preponed. Even if you see Durga Puja, which usually happens in the later part of October or mid of October, this time Durga Puja is in the first week of October, right? And like last week of September and first week of October. So you understand, right? So इसके वजह से थोड़ा सा you might feel that the retail sales are not there, but that is not the case. It is only and only due to this preponement of Gudi Padwa जो festival है. अगर आप इसका बात करते हो, as you know, यहाँ पे you cannot look at the consolidated sales, because last year in the last Q1 they had something called as refinery sales. Okay, जहाँ पे ये bullion का sale चलता है, right? Which they discontinued starting from Q3 of FY25. So this quarter, and again coming to the next quarter, do not check for consolidated sales. Look for the overall sales, which is say minus the refinery sales जो भी है, that you have to look. So if you look at that sales, you see that the sales has grown by 30%, and अगर आप PAT को देखते हो, PAT also doubled over here. Another mistake that people do over here when they're looking at PN Gadgil Jewellers is they only look at retail sales. Okay, now see the difference between retail sales and franchise sales is retail sale मतलब PN Gadgil का खुद का stores, Coco stores, जो PN Gadgil पूरा end to end manage करता है. But as you know, PN Gadgil also has franchise stores also. So a lot of people वो क्या बोल रहे Gadgil का जो sales growth rate is 20. Gadgil का sales growth is not 20. You have to add retail sales plus the franchise sales plus the e-commerce sales. All of this is together. This is what gives you the entire sales growth of Gadgil. Okay, but you have to minus that refinery sales. That is the only thing you have to minus. But लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, refinery sales के साथ franchise sale को भी minus कर रहे हैं, e-commerce sales को भी minus करता है, ठीक है? But now think about it. When you talk about Kalyan का 30% का sale, when you talk about Senco का 28% का sale, entire thing, that 28% includes even Senco का Coco, e-commerce, Sene, franchise, everything. Similarly with Gadgil also you have to take it. You don't compare Senco का total sales and यहाँ पे you're comparing Senco का total sales with Gadgil का retail sales. ये गलती आप मत कीजिएगा. So retail sales grew by 18%. अगर आप देखते हो franchise that is there, franchise का sales almost doubled. 108% से ग्रो हुआ, but the total sales that is there, total sales grew by कितना 30%, which is good. अगर ये शायद गुड़ी पड़वा happened in the month of Q1, right, instead of Q4 in this year, शायद ये even in that total sales जो है it would have done 40% only. SSG भी अगर आप देखते हो, SSG is at 8%. Again the same reason, अक्षय तृतीया and गुड़ी पड़वा कब आया था, early आया था, इसके वजह से you will see that SSG is in single digit, वरना ये शायद और भी बड़ा होता. A good update over here is इसका studded part अगर आप देखते हो, studded part is at around 10%. If I remember, I think when they came for IPO, the studded part was hardly 8 or something. So now studded part is at 10%, really great. great, and their plan is to reach 13% in a couple of years. The guidance still continues to be strong. 20 to 25 stores open karega. Already they are at 57 stores. By the end of the year, they should be around 75 to 78 stores. So overall store execution is great. And again, they are very confident about doing that, 9,500 to 10,000 crore and probably 2.75 to 3.25. But if you look at Q1 of this year, PAT margin was at 4%. And आगे जाके वो बोल रहा है कि like शायद ये instead of 3.25 इस साल शायद ये पैट मार्जिन जो है ये शायद 4% भी हो सकता है. सो जितना पैट मार्जिन बढ़ेगा आपका उतना आपका ऑपरेटिंग लेवरेज पे मिलेगा, ज्यादा ईपीएस का ग्रोथ होगा. ज्यादा ईपीएस का ग्रोथ होगा तो पी रेटिंग जल्दी हो सकता है, एंड एज अ रिजल्ट यू एंड आई एज अ शेयर होल्डर विल मेक मोर मनी ओवर हियर. सो ओवरऑल अनदर गुड अनदर क्या बोलते हैं गुड ग्रेट अपडेट फ्रॉम देम. इन्होंने ये भी बोला था कि लाइक उनका जो 25 स्टोर्स दे हैव द प्लान टू ओपन इट, out of that 12 stores will be this PN Gadgil Jewellers का store, and the 10 stores will be this उनका जो lightweight jewelry brand है, right, which is light style by PN Gadgil, that is going to be 10 stores, and the rest 12 to 15 stores will be PN Gadgil. Okay, so this is another update from Gadgil Jewellers. Great. Titan का कुछ है नहीं, good decent growth, 18% का growth करता है. Great, nothing much to talk about it. जो है वो है same narrative as all the other companies. There is nothing different. DP Abhushan I've already covered, I believe, in another video, like in a separate video I must have done it. But अगर मैं इसका भी बात करूँ, ये sales is up by hardly 7, PAT by 45. इनका ना, if you talk about DP Abhushan, they have been the most impacted when you talk about this gold price, because as you know जो gold का price है, right, the volatility of the gold price has been immense, because when you compare on Q1 of last year versus Q1 of this year, gold price rose by 33%, 30%. and जो आपका जो quarter on quarter है compared to Q4 से Q1 अगर आप compare करते हो, gold का price rose by 5%. So इसके वजह से इनका most of they were the most impacted over here. So इनका again all the stores that is there, they have opened 3 stores last year, and everything is great. Only thing is like it becomes like I told you, right, the overall growth is really affected, and we do not know how probably the entire year, because ये बोल रहा था अपने con call में that ये जो volume growth is impacted, हम लोग we have to be cautious right now, ये सब बोल रहा था. So that is there. But एक चीज अच्छा है DP Abhushan का मैं बोल सकती हूँ, that is these people are planning, उन्होंने QIP किया था 600 करोड़ का. Earlier if you look at it, they had a plan to open around around 20 to 25 showrooms I believe by FY28. Okay, FY28. अभी बोल रहा है कि like I will open 50 showrooms by FY30. Earlier they were only a Coco stores. Now they are taking inspiration from Kalyan, from Gadgil. Actually Kalyan is the one who started all of this, because Kalyan they were only Coco store, then they went and expanded everywhere, franchisee करने लगा. अभी PN Gadgil is following Kalyan का footsteps. Senco followed Kalyan का footsteps. Now DP Abhushan is also trying to do that. ये भी franchisee करने का सोच रहा है, and the plan is to do क्या बोलते हैं like around 50 showrooms from the existing. अभी 11 showrooms है, 11 to 50 in the span of next 5 years, and that is roughly I think around 30-35% का CAGR, I think something you can expect from there. And studded भी जो है, studded portion right now is 6%, and they want to double it, take it up to 15% by FY30. Like I told you earlier, it used to open 20 stores by FY28. From there वहाँ से they're telling हम 50 stores open करेंगे FY30. This is the only positive update I can tell जो DP Abhushan से है. I think a little bit you can give a slack for DP Abhushan is because DP Abhushan sells most आपका bridal wear jewelry, आपका that heavy jewelry that is there, and as you know, when does that get sold most? In Q3 and Q4 का months. So again that is also a little bit there, इनका जो impact it is way worse compared to due to the gold prices from somebody else. But I think this is that one company you can wait and watch it. How do I put this, like it doesn't come anywhere near like Senco, Gadgil and Kalyan. When you talk about it in the race, it comes nowhere in with those players. ठीक है, so ये है. And I think the last one is Tangamayil that is there. Tangamayil का if you look at it also, sales is very nice. Sales is up by 28%. Again Tangamayil is also a regional brand, right? It only operates in Tamil Nadu. So that is why I was telling, अगर आप देखते हो Kalyan is a pan India presence, Tanishq is a pan India presence, Titan. अगर आप बात करते हो Senco West Bengal, PN Gadgil Maharashtra, DP Abhushan in that Rajasthan Madhya Pradesh area, and Thangamayil in Tamil Nadu. You see, irrespective of what this gold prices का volatility was there, PNGL and आपका जो Senco है, they have done really well. Even Thangamayil has done really well. So now do you understand कि like DP Abhushan का कितना the kind of numbers that they've posted. Why I was telling कि like it is nowhere up to the mark, even though they are like a very small regional brand, because Thangamayil is also very small. But एक चीज है, इनका जो margin set is there, margin is completely affected for Thangamayil. Two reasons. One, because they have opened 6 new showrooms in Tamil Nadu in the month of in the starting of this year, right? Because of which again it takes a lot of time for all these stores to break even होने में, इसके वजह से एक upfront cost हो चुका है. The second thing is इनका hedging policy, all of that is not that great, and with this ongoing volatility in gold का prices, they've had that losses and everything. Other than that, if you see इसका जो volumes है, ये जो 28% आप देख रहे हो ना sales, it is mostly come from the value growth that is there, because the volumes are down by 5% for Thangamayil. If you talk about like the same time last year, I think the volume growth was 20%. And in fact, since the time of COVID, this is the first time where you see that the volume growth, after 2020, this is the first time Thangamayil ka volume growth has gone down. So that is the thing, that is a little bit I can tell आपका जो है disappointing है. Even उनका SSG is hardly at 6%, which was somewhere around like 19%, I believe, 19 or 9%, somewhere in that range in the same time last year. So thoda sa वहाँ पे margins is missing over here with Thangamayil. Although the sales growth is there, margins is missing, volume growth is affected. Again, compared to all the other three players that are there, Thangamayil also doesn't stand a chance. So when you compare the entire race that is there in the entire jewelry space, Kalyan, Senco, Gadgil, Tanishq, DP Abhushan and Thangamayil, you can put DP Abhushan and Thangamayil in the bottom of the lot, like in the third place. In the second place, you can put, I would say bottom of the lot, probably in the fourth place. In the third place, you can put, you can put Tanishq, okay? Because Tanishq, why am I putting Tanishq above, above Thangamayil? Why am I putting Titan is because irrespective of Titan, Titan grew its sales by 19% and Thangamayil grew at 28%. Is because look at the size of Tanishq, right? Look at the size of Titan. Itna bada company hai, and it still managed to grow at 20%, right? Like that is, I think, really, really exemplary. And you are such a small player and you should be able to do. And इसमें भी आपका volume growth नहीं है, ये नहीं है, SSG is getting impacted. That is a little bit disappointing. So Thangamayil and अगर आपका DP Abhushan जो है, that is in the bottom of the lot. The third player I would put Titan. The second player I would put Senco, right? Although like if you look at Senco is a good 28% का growth engine है, but still is because आगे जाके शायद this entire आपका जो growth rate hai, that 28-30% ka growth rate that this company got, it is primarily driven by that low base effect, right? And because of their solitaire mein, if you talk about the diamond ka jo maine bola tha, they were the most impacted compared to any other player that is there, because किसी के पास उतना diamond का revenues नहीं आ रहा था, solitaire के पास नहीं आ रहा था, जो भी था वो higher carat से आ रहा था. These were the only player, this was the only player that got a lot of revenue from that diamond का category, from that 1 carat and below. इसके वजह से both of these reason is why उनका sales growth जो है, because of that low base affected grew. आगे जाके even they also mentioned ना कि like हमारा जो sales growth है, it will be at 18 to 20%, especially in the coming Q2. So that is the reason I'm keeping it at in the like in the second place. In the first place, I would put Kalyan and PN Gadgil, because Kalyan and PN Gadgil even till today, if you see, it continues to win the race. Even Kalyan, because Kalyan 32% का growth engine है. Why am I still putting Gadgil in the same position as Kalyan is because if probably that Gudi Padwa wouldn't be there, it would have probably grown faster than Kalyan in terms of the entire sales. If you minus that refinery sales, it would have grown faster probably. So again उनका भी store expansion चंगा चल रहा है. Similarly with Kalyan also, there is no problem with both. The only thing with Kalyan, I think the only thing with Kalyan we have to track and see is that ROC that is there, because you're opening all these regional stores and all, it doesn't get impacted. This is one thing to see. And with Gadgil we have to see because until now they were based out of Maharashtra, आगे जाके they are planning to open in the Hindi heartland. There we have to see if the acceptance is and that execution is on mark or not. Kalyan has done that very beautifully. The question is, will P and Gadgil be able to do it or not? That is another thing, because if they can't do it now, then ये 9,000 to 10,000 crore का जो target है उनका revenue target, that may not be achievable, right? So that execution is something that we have to track. Overall good set of numbers for the entire jewelry space. Now, talking about the outlook, how does FY26 sound like, or how does it look like? Companies ka ek hi, what I've seen is, if you, other than the bottom two players, if I talk about Kalyan, Senco, PN Gadgil and Titan, one thing that they are talking is ki, like, bhai, even though the gold ka prices has, increased by 30%, same time last year, we do not see, people, people sitting on the side fence. People are still going ahead, people are still buying. Yes, that initial few days, jab wo gold ka prices badhta hai, little bit people, they get a little bit uncomfortable, but after that, the mind gets, normalized, because unko bhi pata hai ki, like, gold ka prices jo hai, gold ka bhav jo hai, wo badhta hi jayega, and they have only experienced it in the last 1 year. So we do not see, ki, like, gold ke prices ke wajah se, probably walk-ins are dropping, or there is some, there is some problem in terms of demand. But yes, one thing that we see, because ye gold ka prices badh raha hai, now kya ho raha hai, weight is coming down, right? Let's say, for example, earlier for 10,000 rupees a man was getting probably 1.5 grams. Same time last year he was getting 1.5 grams of gold. Now he's hardly getting 1 gram of gold for the same amount, right? So abhi kya kar rahe, instead of buying 22 carat gold, or 24 carat gold, people are doing, lightweight jewelry, 18 and 22 carat, because usme for the same price you will get little bit zyada weight you will get, and that is where more trend is on, especially agar aap ye daily wear jewelry if you're using, right? Wahan pe, instead of preferring the 24 carat, the daily wear people are preferring that 18 to 22 carat. And now you will see across the category, everybody is opening this, this 18 to 22 carat ka store. Think about it, Kalyan ka hai Candor, right? And Candor ko unhone kya bola tha ki, like, hum is saal shayad, break even ho sakte hain, even we can turn profitable also, because until now Kalyan has done no promotions for Candor. They have absolutely not done anything. Right now they're pushing so much in terms of marketing, advertising and everything. PN Gadgil का वो light style बोल के एक है, Senco का Sene है, Carrot Lane का you have that Mia, right? So all of these people are pushing aggressively in terms of that 18 and 22 carat का stores, उनका जो sub brands है, they're pushing there because that is where the demand is. And the last thing, every company has told कि, like, in the Q2, right? Q2 में growth rate जो है, it might be a little bit tapered, it might look tapered. Again, please remember, when you're looking at Q2 का result, please don't tell कि, like, कोई भी company का don't tell कि, like, pace of growth कम हो चुका है. Like, if you talk about Kalyan, शायद instead of doing, traditionally वो जो है, it does between 35%, in that range it does. शायद अगर वो 25 करे, या शायद अगर PN Gadgil 30 से 25% करे, please don't tell कि, like, PN Gadgil या Kalyan या Titan का या Senco का pace of growth कम हो चुका है, because यहाँ पे pace of growth कम, it's not that pace of growth कम हो चुका है. Last July में we had this import cut, right? Import, like, आपका जो क्या बोलते हैं, gold का import है, the tax was cut from 12% to 6%, and there was a huge walk-in, like, it was like a one-time event, like, a lot of people who were sitting on the fence to buy gold, they all came, they rushed, and Q2 was a bumper, because right, Q2 is the leanest period for the entire jewelry. So last Q2 mein there is this high base effect. So compared to that high base effect, if you see this time, this year is a normalized year, aapko lag sakta hai, that the pace of growth has come down, but that is not the case. Okay, it is always remember that one-time event that happened in the last July. Okay, so that's it with the entire jewelry space. Agar main baat karu, right, overall good set of numbers by everybody, considering the environment. Environment has been not that great for them because of the the gold prices ka volatility that is there, but really good set of numbers. Kalyan and PN Gadgil really leading the race. I really hope Kalyan ka that ROC doesn't get affected, and wo jo bhi kar rahe in terms of their contract manufacturing, that doesn't really impact them. And at the same time, PN Gadgil, I really hope, especially unka jo retail sales and everything comes back, and I hope jo unka expansion kar rahe outside Maharashtra, that is very successful. So that's that, guys, for the entire video. I'm actually really tired talking, because I literally had to my throat is dry because I had to speak this entire thing in just one shot, in just one breath. As you guys know, I don't edit my video. मैं सिर्फ एक raw video बनाती हूँ, मतलब phone को ऐसे stand में रखती हूँ और एक mic पकड़ के ऐसे बात करती हूँ. So yeah, I'm just a bit tired. मैं शायद एक और video बनाऊँगी PNG's गर्गी में. Probably the part 3 of the jewelry space जो मैं बोल रही थी ना, that B2B part that is there, वो थोड़ा देर लग सकता है, because there are a lot of companies still जिसका con call transcript नहीं है, या उन्होंने अभी तक कॉन कॉल नहीं किया है, like so that is the reason I would want the con call to come, so I can give you an entire overview of what is happening in that B2B space. Okay, that's that. And just another reminder again, just another reminder again that we have the portfolio analysis workshop in on next Sunday, upcoming Sunday, that is there. Make sure you get your seats, because we only have 1000 seats and we're already down. So make sure you do get your seats, and I'll meet you tomorrow, not tomorrow. I'll meet you guys in the live workshop next Sunday. Anyways, guys, take care. Bye.